So I just have some questions for you.
Yep.
So this meeting that was held on Saturday, was it a scheduled Harbor Committee meeting?
Not quite.
I mean,
I'd scheduled the day in advance because Mark Shaughnessy just left for 3 weeks.
okay.
So rather than do it at our normal meeting, which he wasn't going to be at, was scheduled it for Saturday night.
So is the public notified that
I don't know.
were people other than the
It was
Harbor,
just people on the Harbor Committee, and there was one member that couldn't make it.
were there other people that attended?
Nope, but other people never attend.
Well,
So that's kind of normal. And I have no idea if they publish any kind of a meeting time anywhere beforehand.
I mean, I think there was a lot of it that concerned me apparently, why we weren't invited.
Okay. I believe that you could draft a letter that we could, email or whatever to the Harbor Committee and say, oops, that won't happen again, and back off on this. Stop it.
Hey, buddy, can you step outside, please? Will, so I heard about this letter that you gave me from the coffee club people on Sunday morning. So they were all sitting
Yeah,
around.
who's in the coffee club? Because
Andy Ladd, Curtis Brand. I guess there was like 12 people there. Somebody had a copy of the letter.
They said it was posted on the internet.
couldn't have.
So there's a website called Friends of Brooksville,
Okay.
and apparently it was on there.
Couldn't have been on there Sunday because I didn't write it until Monday.
Okay. So I guess I'm concerned of how someone can get on the wrong mooring that I didn't assign to them. The tackle didn't break.
Right?
The tackle did what it was supposed to do. They dragged it.
I think they were just too big a boat for that mooring, and
I agree.
shouldn't have been aware.
We knew that. I mean, so I spent most of the afternoon moving boats around to put them on our boats, like my personal boats,
Yep.
on people that gave me permission to
Yep.
put my boats on their mooring. But, so we could accommodate the 14 plus people we had in overflow. Meanwhile, there's a Hypalon boat, a little dinghy on the town mooring. You got Pat Ryan's on the other town mooring. There's other people. There were plenty of moorings in here.
Yep.
So I was scrambling, just trying to help people out.
And I asked around, I have a list of moorings that people said we could use. And I kept telling you to, send people my way, and I'll point them at what seems to be an appropriate mooring.
Yeah. So are you aware that Sparky sat with me and inspected like 80% of our moorings?
Then that'll work. If Sparky will basically sign, yep, I saw this one, then that's 80% of them are done.
No, I'm talking before, so I don't understand how we can have a mooring get dragged
Yep.
by a boat that I didn't put him on it. Nothing happened to the mooring other than it got dragged. He had contact with the boat, which, I went on the boat with Mr. Shad.
Right. Minor.
Right. He said, whatever, if we can buff it out, I'll pull it at Lyman Morris if it costs anything. I said, either I'll handle it or the boat captain will.
Yep.
Has anyone talked to the boat captain?
Nope. I have no information.
Did
I
you?
talked to the crew Tuesday afternoon and told them it really wasn't a good place for them. They said, no, we're good here.
So you talked to him?
I talked to the crew, but not the captain.
So, the captain called here that morning, first thing when it happened. So he said he turned around and went down under the bridge and kind of hid out down there most of the
That
day.
had to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, he said he didn't sleep at all. So he said, they fendered off while he turned around. He said he saw the mooring go by half the boat. He's like, I was totally on the wrong one. He's like, if there's any damage to that boat, we'll pay for it. The owner will pay for it. And I asked him if he hit the dock, and he said, there's absolutely no way we hit the dock. So, did someone witness him hit the dock?
No, because it was dark.
So, to me, it looked like when we put that thing back on it, that, if the wind blew sideways, it could have just blew or walked off the dock. There's two of these did it last year.
Yep, good. Because it's Archie Cox's dock, I tread really carefully. He's really well connected.
Thank you.
I don't
Like
care
if it were
who's,
anybody else's dock. But
so you're,
be super cautious if you're not gonna take blame for his.
I'm not taking blame for anything.
Okay.
Like, oh, I didn't put him on that mooring. He was on an inappropriate mooring. Of course it's gonna drag. I mean, we knew that.
Okay, so what do you wanna do?
Well, I don't see how, I've inspected, done moorings for, 5 years now. To your knowledge, do we have any other, have there ever been any issues with a mooring of my
Not that I
mooring?
know of.
So, one mooring that a big boat gets on and drags and touches another boat, but he got out of here, he called me, he said, I'll pay for any damages,
Yep.
I'll handle it, and you never even asked me for his contact info.
Because you guys seem to be working it out.
And nobody from, I mean, Shad said it was no big deal.
Right.
I mean, we fixed the dock, there was
I
no
think
damage to
everybody's
the dock.
anxious that this could happen again.
Well-
And not come out as neatly.
The other mooring that he was on before, I mean, that thing is the biggest one in the harbor. It's got inch plus bottom chain, it's got 7/8 top chain. It has, I don't know if you've seen the pennant, the pennant's like that big around, it's almost a 2-inch pennant, 25 footer. I mean, that's more than adequate. And I mean, we've had bigger boats than that on it, you know, even though it, and I've actually asked Sarah before in the past, I said, you know, this boat's coming in, you know, we know what's on the bottom here, can we put them on it?
Yeah.
And, you know,
And in calm conditions, yeah.
yeah, well, I don't know. You said to Jess that I've been found incompetent multiple times.
That's what the harbor committee, that was their term.
So if someone sinks a $500,000 boat a month ago
That's pretty incompetent too.
and you're on the harbor
They
committee
are the ones actually making this decision.
and you're making that decision, you know, that I mean, I just want to just chat with you about this because I mean, this could go really bad really fast. If no one had any communication with the boat captain, I think that should have been priority number one. Like I talked to him,
Yep.
I was waiting for someone to have, you know, can we get his contact info? I offered it to Shad. The captain said he'd chat with him anytime, but he said there's no way we hit the dock. And even if they did, I mean, he goes there's no damage to my boat, and I showed him all the pictures of the dock.
Okay.
I mean, who knows? There's a weld. I would imagine if it rolled back and it hit on that where it's slooped,
Yeah.
that's where that small weld is. But if no one saw it, he says he didn't do it. He's got 4 crew that were all around the boat trying to fend off and make sure that they were good. You know, and hearing about this coffee club thing,
Good. Do I have to wear my mask?
Well, we have a screen. This is our mask right here, and you're the only person.
you know,
over
we
there.
know it was on the town moorings.
What's going on? Are you here to visit? Oh, you're back. Are you Spindrift?
Everybody that, you know, I had permission to put my boats on the moorings, and people called to say that you called them.
I've had a couple of people complaining that you've been using their moorings.
Okay.
Who?
And Bristol is one of
End of the
them.
summer.
I don't know how he knows, right? He's out of contact, he's away someplace, but he's like, so I hear John Buck's been renting out my mooring. And I was like,
It's like almost
I don't think he's been renting it.
No.
I think he had something on it the other night for the storm.
So that was the one day. So as far as I would say, and I would think the town would be concerned, he doesn't have a mooring anymore. He hasn't paid his bill
Right.
in how many years?
And we're working on that.
And all the tackle belongs to me. So I put a fresh bottom chain.
So, you know, he called the other day, said he wasn't gonna renew his mooring, blah, blah, blah.
So
And I
that,
said that you had sort of a lien on him because he hadn't paid.
So it's not
He should
his-
talk with you, and he said he hadn't been able to get hold of you. I dropped off the number the other day, that's the number he called from.
You're not delivered.
yeah, he's never tried to get a hold of me. I mean, he owes me $1,800. So there's no way that's his mooring. I put a ball on it, basically to that day, to mark it, and then I know it's on it, everything's good.
I have somebody else that's waiting for that spot as soon as that tackle goes away.
They're all pizzas and there's
So I've
also
been waiting
make
for
your
you
own
guys to
stuff.
sort it out so the tackle can go away.
The guy on
I wouldn't wait too long to
my
call.
23
Occasionally sell out.
is looking, likes that location,
It's gonna get like normal.
and he said he'd been in contact with you about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the
I know
guy.
he is, but yeah. There are people that
I
have been
don't know if
asking
they're
about moorings, so.
updated dinner.
maybe one-
So-
I know there's.
I mean, you called Jerry.
Okay. It might be.
I called Jerry and said, what am I gonna do about this? You got,
Yeah.
you know, the 4 hours, Jerry.
Well,
Here's
so
what I do.
he said if I'm not on it and you need to use it, use it.
It's in the shop. I
Same
could-
thing, I mean, he put his dinghy on my dock last year for
Back for you.
2 weeks, like, I don't charge him,
Which
like,
is fine, I mean, basically the deal is if you're gonna use somebody's mooring, you ask, you get permission, you put an appropriate boat on it, we're good.
No, I can definitely have let
well,
people use
hey,
that one.
but
It's
there's
just
other
really
people in
like
this
messy
harbor
back
that
there.
get on
But it's a
moorings
big
that
washer,
aren't theirs.
so maybe even somebody.
I try to chase them down, there's a lot of boats, and I don't know where everybody goes yet.
I mean, I could point out 5 a night.
Yep.
I mean, I see them all, you know, except for that night was like just all over the place. But there was 3 boats in the cove on people's moorings that,
But the ones I talked to said, oh, we have their
Coin
permission.
operated, and they're
Yeah.
pretty decent sized washers.
And there were 2 boats
One in the
on
back and you could
Murphy's
bigger.
mooring.
It was
That's
my
probably the
mom's.
most protected
She
corner
got a
in the
new
harbor.
Yeah.
dryer, so she got a new
I get,
set.
so Murphy called me and said, these guys are okay. I told him they could raft up. He's like, I have complete faith, and I mean, he called me to let me know.
Yep.
And he's not even a member or anything. You know, it's part of the, like that guy that was on the
The
rocks,
menu again?
Pizza. You
Uh,
got some pizza?
Yeah, it was on
the ledge that you said was a friend. I mean, you put him on someone else's mooring.
Yep, I never put my clients on commercial moorings. I just don't, I haven't for 20 years.
Is that who that was? Mike Lyons? Well, then he came in here and said
No,
that,
my clients, people that I do yacht stuff for.
There's some like
Oh.
pullers and
You know,
bubblies.
when they're in town and I'll
Just a can.
collect their parts and this, that, and the other, and get their mail, and they borrow my car to get groceries, and you know, that sort of stuff.
It's glad to be back. For your little
And I always
shit.
did it out of Benjamin River before where I lived, but now I'm not there.
yeah, so he said you put him on that mooring, and then he goes, well, she said I could use the marina too. And I was like, well,
And I didn't say that.
oh, okay.
He said, where's the dinghy dock? And I said, you probably tell the dinghy about the marina or the town dock.
Go to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
didn't tell me couldn't use showers.
So that's a-
laundry,
yeah. Oh.
The boat that you don't like press a button and it does everything for you.
So are you aware of the pogie boat that's been in here getting pogies?
Yep.
No, that.
So I videoed
Oh,
it
it's
for an
just
hour.
a button, okay.
I mean, they took tens of thousands of pogies out of here, and there's an ordinance that says they're not allowed to do that.
Not fishing in the harbor.
Yep.
There's a booklet you gave us that,
I did look, I wasn't. aware.
because you videoed them, and we actually come
Hey,
across like these
how you doing?
like,
Good.
and they said it wasn't illegal, but your harbor master 3 days.
So,
Okay.
and then
Really? Are you saying you?
Right, let me see.
there's the pogie boat that's been in here and stays in here on that mooring in front of Chris's thing.
Yeah.
We don't even know whose it is.
So it's, I found out it's Gunner Lineman's, and he's a fisherman.
From where?
From
I don't
Brooksville.
think we can charge that to the yacht.
I don't know where he normally keeps the boat.
Yeah.
'Cause
So
it's- you're right, it's not here much.
when I bought this place, I pulled up everything with Sparky. We pulled up everything we could, except for the ones we couldn't get out of the mud, and I dove on them. And I replaced all the chain. And I went over and interviewed with Bob Vaughn and I think Sparky and then someone else, Ed Black, maybe. I don't know. And then I've done the moorings with him,
You want me to, or?
mostly with Sparky for the last, 5 years. We have not had any issues.
Enjoy your dinner.
I replace everything because I don't want the liability. I don't,
If Sparky will like sign off on those, they're essentially
See if I
done.
can help that out.
yeah, but here's the problem is you, by taking away my ability to do moorings like that is my customers, an email that says I no longer am able to do it. I mean, there's a lot of levels right there that, I mean, I've already had 20 people come and ask me about it and they're not even my mooring customers. And then towny people from that, are just coming.
Yeah, that's small towny stuff, and I have no idea how you do that.
So there's a lot of moorings out here that I've dove on that I know have not had anybody pull them off the bottom. I don't think I've seen Andy Ladd pull a single mooring off the bottom in 5 years.
Yep. I haven't seen how he does them.
I don't think he's swimming,
No, he's probably not swimming.
and I don't think anybody else is swimming on them. I mean, I feel like our stuff is dialed in. I've been replacing things this year, painting the balls, making everything fresh on the top, but we put all fresh stuff on.
So,
You know-
compose that letter and we'll pass it to the harbor committee. You're allowed to say, but.
Well, I don't know why I wasn't invited to this meeting.
I don't know.
So I don't know how this is gonna go because it's already made it to like Belfast. It's already made it to a bunch of different places. I mean, it seems like there's two different you know, people turn a blind eye to certain things that happen around here. I mean, I've videoed things left and right that don't get addressed.
Say something, now I'll look at the ordinance and see about the fishing in the harbor, and you have videos, so if somebody fished in the harbor,
I
and
mean,
they're like,
even-
and here they are.
Just like speeding around the harbor, there is a no wake zone. I mean, every day.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
I yell at a few of them.
there was an incident, I don't even know how it survived a wake from Pat Ryan last year.
Yep.
You know, and then I had my sailboat actually nose dove in the water when he went by. Like,
Yep.
and then, you know, I lose pickup sticks because people are running them over. And I mean, I lost a mooring ball today. It seems suspicious.
Lost it.
Yeah, it just popped.
Hey, stop. Hi.
So anyway, I mean, I don't know what to. I don't know what's going to happen.
I don't think it's carved in stone. I think that if you know, compose a letter saying, well, here's my side, and can we do this instead?
Yeah, he was completely shouldn't have been on that mooring. I didn't know he was on that mooring. I had no idea he was on that mooring. And that's the first thing I said to him. I'm like, dude, why would you get on that mooring? He's like, I thought it would be more protected. I'm like, you don't even know what's on the bottom over there. And then I called him back, and I'm like, it was probably a 2,200 pound mushroom. Like, that's it.
Yeah, the records claim that one's 18 and the other one's 3,000.
Okay, sorry.
The other one's way bigger than
The
3,000.
records claim, and by all means, if it's bigger, then it ought to be in the record, and that gives you miles of room
Yeah.
to put something bigger there.
All set.
So,
Do you want a receipt?
but the requirements from the harbor committee for me to re-inspect, put all that chain on, do all that stuff, I mean, that would cost me $50,000.
Yep.
And I don't see how me, who is in this harbor more than anybody,
How many do you need? It's per device.
can have different requirements than everybody else.
I don't think they're different requirements. Now, it's highly possible it's not a universal requirement, but I've been like going through the list as I get them and looking at the numbers and seeing what matches and what doesn't.
So you have, for granite, a 250 pound per foot.
Yep.
And I got it more or less out of the Hamilton catalog.
So that means a 10-foot boat should have a 2,500 pound.
Yep. Yep. I've got a 3,500 pound rock under mine. That tiny little, 4-ton tank of whaler.
That's not enough, according to your guidelines.
Right.
They're doing like takeout.
Well, how long's your boat?
It's 35, but it's only 20 on the water.
So a 35-foot boat, so 35 times.
Right. If it were actually the size of a 35-foot boat, it would be enough.
I'll do the gas.
35
You
times
can take that
250.
one right
So you should have an 8,700 pound granite block.
Yep. If Chris's boat were on it, it would need to be more. But his boat weighs like 3 times what mine weighs.
I wonder what his is.
I'd have to look.
Thank you.
He says they're huge, but I'd have to look to see the numbers.
Well, what I know is we pulled up everything with Sparky. I pulled up everything like 3 years ago, replaced all the chain. I mean, I spent $30,000 in chain doing what's right.
Yep.
I do a lot of stuff around here, and for people who are sinking boats, people who are breaking the rules, people who are letting things fly, to call me incompetent about it is more than enough.
Yep. I don't know. But
So I don't know
compose a
how
response.
anybody thought I was going to respond to this, but I can promise you,
Not happy, I'm sure.
it's. I don't think there will be a response. I think things will. It's just, we're trying to do the right by the harbor. Chris can't even get in here some days. It's so busy. He'll slam against the front, which slams against the bow, which moves all my chains over there. And I know he's trying to do his stuff, but it's every day, and he's frustrated. So we're trying to expand the place, and you said no one wants change.
Oh, yeah. That's small town universal. People don't like change.
So this is like,
And often it's the people from away that especially don't want change. They came in, they found paradise, they want to stay just like they found it. Often.
2020 is a pretty odd year, and I think we're going to see a lot more people on the water.
Maybe.
I mean, a
Yeah, the
lot.
fact that there's not much else going on, people are using their boats more. which is good.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure. You know, for Sparky to already do all those mornings, to take my customers and basically, I'm trying to run a business, and it seems like both you and the Harbor Committee are trying to ruin my business.
I don't feel that way, but, you know, I'm sure that, you know, inspecting all your mornings in 2 weeks is solidly a burden.
Oh yeah, I mean, he already did them. We already did them.
Yep.
I've already done them. I've actually gone back and done multiples to put new balls on them, put new pennants on them, put new, you know, just the floats on them to make them look nicer. We've got nothing but compliments about our mornings. You know, that guy hooking up down there on that thing, I mean,
And it's the one bad one that everybody remembers.
right.
It's not the, I don't know, 500 other boats this summer.
Or the thousands of the last
Yep.
5 years. You know, I didn't sink a $500,000 boat off my dock. I'm sure there's more eco damage to that than a couple of scratches on someone's MJM. You know, he seemed totally fine about it. We went for, he didn't even want to go look at his boat. He wanted to go look at the moorings.
Right. He wants to camp out over there now.
Yeah.
You just got some help with sizing over there?
I don't know. I would ask that we revisit the taking away my ability. I mean, I do them with Sparky. It's the two of us. Like, I can't do stuff that and we do them together.
Yep.
You know, little ones, I mean, that I can pull up and just put a ball on and look at the chain and dive on. I don't think anybody else is. I haven't seen Candors down here but twice this year. I know he hasn't dove on more than 5 things. I mean, I feel like I'm doing my best possible job of making sure things are right out here.
You say that in writing, and, you know, negotiate.
With the way this is handled, I think we're beyond negotiating.
I don't think you are. I think some version of oops, bad, shouldn't have happened, won't happen again, will buy you a ton of goodwill. You know, when they came
So,
up with the
do you see
inspecting
that
within
boat
2
over
weeks, I
there?
was like, 2 weeks is gonna be really hard. And they're like, oh, but it's hurricane season. It's like, the season's only like 2
I
weeks
already
away from
did
done.
them. We've already done them. I'm not doing them again. I just,
Okay.
that's money
Yep.
and time, and you know, we were delayed in getting them in even just because of the whole COVID thing. I just feel like, man, people love this place. People come all the time.
Yep.
I mean,
Been coming here for 20 years.
yeah, and I get reviews and nice things, and these people send things on the invoices and the square, and they love this place, and they love what we're doing here, except for some certain people.
And they're always gonna be those. They just are.
Well, 5 years of people trying to like injure our reputation and what we do, and it's just exhausting.
Yep. Yeah, I couldn't do it. This would be a horrible business for me, right?
I just try to keep smiling.
All right. You gotta run?
I mean, those are
For
questions
you,
I can
or-
email you those questions. I mean, I don't think the way that this was handled, there was zero investigation. You know, I went on his boat, we looked at it together. Did the Harbor Committee follow up with him, Chad? Or are we just concerned about Archie's dock because he has connections?
I think everybody's cool with the damage this time was really minor. Nobody's like screaming and yelling, everybody's sorting it out.
Yeah,
But they're afraid that it'll happen again. And it'll be bigger.
so when Jerry had the sardine thing,
The fine
And
sardine carrier.
and it ripped off and almost broke the crane sideways,
Yep.
and
Also bad.
could have taken, I mean, that's bad. That was him doing it.
Yep.
This was not me doing anything other than trying to help people in the harbor weather the storm. I mean, putting people on moorings that were appropriate, We have not had any problem. There's a couple mornings that are a little too close. 11 over there, Sparky came and we maneuvered that out just a little bit. It's probably in the channel right now and needs to be moved at another point. If a boat swings back this way. But other than that, I mean, we've tried to make this place, when we pulled up half the chains before, they were nowhere near replaced for the whole Grimness time.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I probably could show you, I've spent $40,000.
Yeah, I don't think anybody thought Loomis was actually doing a good job. Seems unlikely.
But I'm the incompetent one. I'd be happy to share my accolades and experience.
Do so. I mean, I think you should have a voice.
So how come we weren't invited to the meeting?
I don't know.
Like, aren't they supposed to be public?
I don't know.
Like, and I feel like if we were the ones being discussed, it kind of feels a little undermining.
Seems like a valid point, and by all means, make
It
that
almost
point.
seems like a private attack to get what they want. Like has been going on since we bought the place. Sorry, I probably shouldn't say that, but it's how I feel.
I can inquire about the, why weren't you invited sort of thing.
I just don't understand how I'm the one.
Which will basically buy you 3 weeks because Mark Shaughnessy's out of town.
They're 5 pounds of cubes.
So we
and
can't
then
meet again until he gets back.
Pretty sure the blocks are the same.
And then he probably has to be quarantined for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So that's for the market, so you can call it the market. To the left, quarter mile.
There's a lot of things that smell about this. I mean, the captain wasn't contacted. There was really no investigation. Nobody saw it. I mean, yes, the mooring ball was close, but he said he had to turn the boat around, and that's when when he was turning it around, he dragged it right in front of him. He said, I was looking right at the dock, but it was 40, 50 yards away, which is pretty much where he said, that's where I dropped the mooring ball. It's like, I had people on every corner of the boat. He goes, I don't know, maybe my prop wash pushed it enough that it would have fallen. Who knows? But it didn't look all bent and twisted. The boat, when you came in here, the first thing you said to me was, I hope you have good insurance.
There, you can insert it on the top.
Because it looked broken.
Right. Like Shad's boat, there was nothing, his
Boat, not really broken.
right. And then the dock wasn't twisted, wasn't bent. I thought there were boats on the shore. I thought the thing got mowed down.
Wouldn't that have been fun?
And none of that happened. So I just feel like this whole thing is extreme, and the fact that people in the town were talking about it before I even was informed of anything.
Right. Well, the meeting was Saturday night, and you didn't write the letter until Monday morning, so nobody saw it before you.
Well, maybe they had the gist of what it was going to entail. I've already had multiple people call about the email for the mooring inspections.
Yep. Did you see the email? It was like 3 lines.
I have it.
Honey, here you go. I found scissors.
No, I have one.
So
Yes, you're all set.
who knows?
I got everything.
I don't know what's going to happen at this point.
And the ice is just
I guess more to follow. We'll find out.
Okay. Ciao.
I just grilled it, and she knew that.